All right, it's that big day. You're going to go and buy your first car. Here we go. Are you ready? So exciting. All right, here's what you're going to need. You've got a worksheet that's all about the car loan, something to write with clearly. Need a calculator because we're going to do a lot of computation. And you need an ad that describes the car you want to buy, where it has the price listed on it. Now, in the back of the room, I have a whole bunch of advertisements that you can look through, or if you want to, if you've already done some research and you have one online that you found a picture of and a price, then I need you to find that vehicle, copy and paste that information into a Google Doc, and then share that file with me so I can see it. Write it then up on the top. Tell me if it's like a 2012 Ford Escape and it costs, this much money. All right. Uh, Share that document with me, or cut out the actual picture of the ad with the price, and you're going to staple it or tape it onto your worksheet. And then we're going to start. Here we go. So exciting. All right. Now, and I did put a price cap on here because you're not buying a Lamborghini. Let's be realistic. All right. You're a seventh grader right now. Huh. Okay. Don't peak too early. Save that for later. All right. Here we go. Okay. So the first thing you have to do is find your car and tell me what the price is from the advertisement that you've got. So I'm going to walk you through, and I'm using my numbers. You have to put in your numbers. So let's just say my car happened to cost $12,000. Okay, so I'm going to put that here. Now, sales tax, we're going to say you're buying it from a dealer, and the Minnesota sales tax is 7 1/8%. So notice after each item here, I tell you exactly what to do mathematically. So take your price, whatever it is, and multiply it by 7.125%. Now, I got to crank mine out here. In my case, it's $855. Okay. Make sure you watch your decimal place, because if you just randomly start writing down numbers and maybe you miss the decimal point, and so all of a sudden you're telling me there's $85,500 in tax, you should stop for a second and say, that doesn't sound right, that my tax would be 6 times the amount of my car, 7 times the amount of my car. No. Make sure you got your decimal point in the right spot. In fact, I'd say line up everything with your decimal point so you can see that it makes sense. All right. We're going to say that there is an additional fee to get your car license. Now, that's not your driver's license. This would be the license on the car. All right. So let's take your car price again and times 1.5%. So this is what you have to do. 1.5% times your car price. Go back to line 1, okay, and do that. Okay, and in my case, times 1.5%. This won't be as much money. Here's my decimal point. It's $180 in my case. Okay. Now, oftentimes when you go and buy a vehicle from a dealer, they have other documentation and things and paperwork they have to do for you. And so they're putting a flat fee of, let's say, $50 there. And in our county, there's a wheelage tax, so an additional tax of just $10. And this is going to be the total cost of our car now, let's say. In reality, there are other little things and maybe some discounts and blah, 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 blah that'll happen. But I just wanted to give you a taste that there's a little bit more than just what it says on the price tag. Add all of these numbers 1 through 5. Don't forget to add the 50 and the 10 here, because those are parts of your fee and you're going to have to cough up the cash for that. That's kind of what makes us sad. It's not what it appears. It's all this extra stuff that gets added on there. Okay, so my total now is $13,000, $13,095. No cents yet. Okay. All right. Now, most banks won't let you finance the whole thing. You have to come up with some kind of down payment, it's called. All right. So you've saved up some money, and we're going to take 10% of line 6, and that's going to be our down payment. Now, I showed you how to quickly calculate 10%. All you got to do is move the decimal point in one. So in theory, you don't even need a calculator for this part. If you want to double check and use your calculator, go ahead. All right. But my down payment is going to be $1,309.50. Okay. So I paid that in cash. Now what we're going to do is subtract. See what I'm telling you to do here? Take line 6 and subtract line 7 from it. And this is going to be the amount that you have to come to me, banker lady, and come and borrow. So here we go. $13,095 minus $1,309.50. Here's what I have to come and borrow now. $11,785.50. Again, these are my numbers. Your numbers are going to be calculated in the same manner. Your numbers will be different unless your car happens to be exactly $12,000. Okay. All right. Now when we get to the bottom half, you have two options for your financing. Okay. Plan A is going to be a 4-year loan. Plan B is going to be a 5-year loan. All right. And you're going to figure out each scenario and then determine which one fits your situation. Do you want to have fewer payments over a shorter period of time, or do you want to spread it out over 5 years worth of payments? So here we go. My amount that I have to borrow, I'm just copying it from what I just calculated in line 8, is $11,788, or no, $785, sorry, and 50 cents. 11,785.50. So you put the same number on line 9. Mine's a little sloppy, sorry. All right, when you come to the bank, I'm telling you, this is what your rate is for financing your loan. This is the principal amount of your loan, and the length of the loan in years is there. So as we learned about yesterday, interest is principal times rate times time. So I need you to take these three values, line 9, line 10, and line 11, calculate that up, and that would be your simple interest that you're going to write on line 12. Okay. In my case, I take that number times 6.49% times 4 years. Okay. And this is what I come up with. $3,059. And then I get a whole bunch of decimals here. So I have to do a little rounding to the nearest penny. Please don't write 4, 5, 6 decimal places. Round it to the nearest cent. Okay, mine is about $3,059.52. So that's the interest, because remember, this is how banks make their money, is they loan to people and charge them interest, and then that's how they're making money to pay their employees and pay interest to the people who save. All right, let's add line 9, what I was borrowing, my principal, plus the interest, and that's the total amount that I have to repay, plus my interest. Okay, that gives me my whopping total here of $14,845.02. Okay, that's the whopper. Now, I can't pay that all back at once. Good grief, that's why I came to the bank for the loan. Now I have to figure out how many payments I've got. Everybody's going to have the same number here because typically you pay once a month over the life of the loan. And so for 4 years, okay, times 12 months, this one is going to be 48 payments. Everybody write 48 on this line, okay? Figure out now how much your monthly payment's going to be. So take whatever your total is on line 13 and divide it by 48 payments. And that's how much you have to cough up every month. In my case, it would be $309.27. Okay. All right. Now let's work out the scenario for Plan B. In Plan B, I have a different finance rate and I have a longer period of time, so a greater number of years. So calculate now your principal amount again. It's the same as what was on the other side, but this time it's a different percentage rate and a different number of years. So for me, my interest is $4,708, and I got a round here, 31 cents. Okay, interest here, interest here. My total amount I have to repay says add line 9 and line 12 together. Here's line 9, the principal. Line 12 is the interest. And when I add those two together, that's the total amount that I have to repay this time over 5 years for this loan. 31 cents. Okay, this time the total I have to repay is $16,493.81. 5 years is what I'm spreading this amount over. And so I have to calculate how many payments that's going to be. So, well, 5 years, 12 months in a year, I'm going to have 60 payments. Everyone should have 60 on this line, just like everyone should have 48 on that line. All right, now go ahead and divide. Take your total here on line 13, divide it by line 14, which is 60. So divide by 60. All right, and here, I better oomph this up so you can see what I'm doing. So here, my payment happens to be $274, and I've got to do some rounding, 90 cents. Okay, everybody has different numbers that you're calculating there. Now, once you get through all this and make sure your decimals are in the right place and everything is correct, I want you to stop and see me, because I've got this programmed in a spreadsheet so I can check your math right away. And I don't want you to go any further until we make sure your calculations are correct. Okay? And you're going to keep going through that stage until I make sure you've got it right. Then you can turn it over to the back side. And on the back side, I have questions that I need you to answer in analyzing the math that you've done on the front. And here's the kicker: complete sentences. It has to be a complete sentence. So, for example, when it says on question 17, where it says which plan has the least amount of interest, okay, when I look back and I look at the amount of interest on line 12, here's the interest in plan A, here's the interest in plan B. I look at that and I say plan A. Okay, but you're going to lose a point on here because you did not write a complete sentence. If I just walked up and said plan A, that's not a complete sentence. You need to stop and listen to yourself and think about it. Which plan has the least amount of interest? Kind of restate the question. Plan A has the least amount of interest. Okay, capital letter, period at the end, has the least amount of interest. Spell correctly, please, because the words are right here. You've got the guide right there. Okay. When it says why, I'm going to just tell you this right now. Do not start your sentence with the word because. 9 times out of 10, you won't make a complete sentence if you start it this way. This word will start a clause, not a sentence, and it's just going to be not a complete sentence. So don't start with because, rephrase it, say it out loud so that way it sounds right and makes more sense. I need you to get through all the questions on the back, and when you get done, you turn it in. All right? Whew, especially that last question. Tell me what you've learned after buying and trying to finance your own cars. Good luck. Happy car shopping. And as always, may the force be with you.